So we are going to get a file ready to cut your pinball housing. So you've got Illustrator opening up, you create a new file. And then over here on the right where it says points, change it to inches. Points are really tiny. So inches. So we're going to go with the maximum size of the laser cutter has, which is 26 inches by 18 inches. All right. And we're going to orientate it horizontally for now. So we'll hit create on there. And there we go. I'm going to make this a little smaller so I can actually see the whole thing. There it is. And close a few things so they're out of the way. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so this is the maximum size we have. You're going to go over to your toolbar here and you've got the tool here for creating shapes. So you want a rectangle tool because your base of your pinball machine will be rectangular. And you'll notice it is showing inches at the bottom right as I drag. But I'm just going to drag a rectangle, doesn't matter which size. And I'm going to come over here and what I want to see is the properties, which may be showing on yours. If it doesn't show, go to Window and go to Properties. All right. So now I can make the size I want here. And I think I'm going to go with 10 inches by 18 inches for my pinball there. Now, I'm going to grab over in the tools, I'm going to grab the selection tool so I can actually move this. So there we go. 10 by 18. I'm going to move it up here to the corner. Down the appearance here, we have a stroke. I'm going to make the stroke 3 points. It makes it a little wider. And the fill, I don't really need a fill. So I'm going to click on it and click none. I don't want it filled. And the stroke, I'm going to make red for the moment. Just there. Okay, so if I click on it, there we go. That's my pinball machine. Now, I do need the sides for the pinball. All right. But first, if you don't want your pinball machine to be totally square, like maybe you want the top of the machine to have a curve, you'll come back over here and grab the ellipse tool. So I've grabbed the ellipse tool and I'm going to move up here. You can see it lets me know that I'm at the perfect height to match. And I'm going to make an ellipse. And I'm going to make it so it matches top and bottom. There, it's the exact right height. Then I'm going to go back and get my movement tool here. And I'm going to move my ellipse so it matches up at the top here and the bottom perfectly. All right, so if I click outside of it, here's what it looks like. Now, the only issue is I don't want these lines in here because I'm not going to want the laser to cut those lines. So what I have to do is I'm on my movement tool or selection tool. I'm going to drag over everything so everything is selected. Then there's a tool over here called the Shape Builder. And I'm going to click on it. And it's going to let me, if I move inside, you'll notice it selects part of the shape. And I just click and drag across all of these and let go. And it joins them all together. So now I've got what I want for my pinball machine. Now, depending what shape of your ellipse, you could have more of a curve or less of a curve. That's up to you. Okay? So now I need to match up this here to make my sides. And so these here sides were 18 inches. Now they say 18.89, but that's because this part's been added in. But when I put my side on, it's just going to match there. So I need to go make two 18-inch sides. I'll need, if you want a side here, because you may not, that may be open because you're going to have flippers and other things there. So you may not need a side, but you may want one. I'm going to go back over here and grab the rectangle tool. And I'm just going to make the shape here. So the side is going to be up in the top right here. I'm typing in 18 inches. There we go. Now, how tall I want it. I mean, you may want it 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. I don't know how high you want it. I'm going to make it 2.5 inches. No, that's too much. I think I'll just make it 2 inches tall. So grab my movement tool again so I can move it without doing other stuff. And I'm actually going to copy it and paste it. So now I got 2 of them. So there's both my sides right there that I needed. Okay. Now, if I want the 10-inch one here, what I'll do is paste it again. But this one will make the 10 inches. We'll change the size to 10 inches. So there, this will fit down there. But what I'm going to do is rotate this for now and just put it up there. Okay, because the one that goes here is going to be a little longer, and maybe I'll make it over here. I think I'll make like 3 of these, so it'll fit here because it's got a curve. It's going to be longer than this, but I don't know how much longer, and then I can just trim off what I don't need. So I'll just have 3 this size. There we go. So now you've basically got what you need. That's your basic, all ready to go. Now decorations. You could paint this. You could put stickers on the sides, the outsides, the insides, or you can have the laser cut some shapes into it. It all depends on what you want. Or we could put text on it, or a mixture of all 3. So let's just show you one. So if I made this again, I'm going to take it down so it's like only 16. And I'm going to take it down to 1 inch. And then if I move it inside here, so there, I could have a hole cut into my side if I wanted, so that I could see through. Now notice you still got it solid down here because you don't want the ball, if you put this down too low, the ball could end up coming out when your pinball goes flying around. So that's one thing you could do, is make shapes like that. And you could have a star tool to make shapes. Like suppose I'm doing, here we'll make that one, I'm doing a space themed one. So here, I put a star in there. So the laser will cut that, and I could put stars or moons or whatever. Now, I also, and so if I go back here to Safari, if this is a space-themed one, I put rocket silhouettes. So silhouettes are really what you might look for if you're looking for things to go onto a rocket-themed one. And I'm going to copy this image, and then I'm going to go back into here, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so it's rather large, so I got to shrink it down because I want it to be able to go in my little thing here. Okay, now with images you bring from the internet, you have to go Object, Image Trace, Make and Expand. You have to do that. You don't have to do that with things you drew in Illustrator. So there we go. I got my rocket there. So it would actually, this shape would get cut out by the laser cutter. Okay, and size-wise it's in good shape. So I got that. The other thing you could be putting on is text. So suppose I wanted the name of my pinball machine here, my rocket themed. So let's get the size bigger. That's a good size. I'm not sure I like Myriad Pro. In theory, you could download any font you want. So you could find a rocket font. So if I went up here and did a search, I could search for a rocket font, and let's go to my fonts and rocket fonts. That don't look like a rocket font. That don't look like, okay, those don't look like, that's horror metal. I don't think they had rocket fonts here. Let's try font space rocket fonts. Okay, so that's a, yeah, these are different fonts that would be used for different things. So I could download them, install them in Illustrator, install them in your computer. A folder will come, you install it. So if I wanted to do that, and then quit Illustrator, open it up again, and you'll be able to choose that font. Okay, so I've got that. So my text here, and I'm calling this Galaxy Pinball quest. There we go. And I'll grab my movement tool again so I can move it wherever I want it. So then the laser would cut out these letters and you pop them out and you'd be left and people could see that through that. But the only thing is, if you put text in it, you gotta go up here to type and you gotta create outlines. Okay, so there we go. These things would all be cut out by the laser. I've got all 4 of my sides. I've got this. Last thing I need to do is file, and I need to save as, and not as an Illustrator document, but as an SVG. So you save it as an SVG, and you can bring that into the laser. Okay, there you go. Enjoy.